us do irrational things and listen to irrational things, and we all just need to stop participating in that and educate ourselves. That's how we're going to make it through this economically. And politically and socially, there's no saying what's going to happen. Politics, to me, are a complete joke and a puppet show. I see through that about, from 1,000 miles away. So I just kind of ignore it. It is what it is. And socially, the sooner we all get that we need to help each other out, not fight each other, not kill each other, guys, that nonsense has to stop. It has to stop, and I don't care what the reasons are for. We cannot continue to do that, and this has to be part of our fundamental change, is eliminating violence. Think about the average human lifespan and just how much it would increase, how much longer on average we would live if violence was not around, if no one was murdered or killed in war. That would extend our lives, God knows how many years on average, right? Everybody would have a chance to live their entire life without fear of being violently killed. Then that's a pretty basic change to make. And I think the only way we can make that is to be brave, to not let anything else make us think that's a wrong way to think, because it's the right way to think. It's logical, it's compassionate, and all those things are important, logic and compassion. And little things like that, just granting each man his own individual right, or woman, or child, to a full life without threat of violence. It needs to go. So those are the sort of changes I see coming through 2012. It'll be a tremendous change, and on the other end of this, there is some beautiful things. That said, I believe everything's by design, including our own thoughts as they're electric. There's absolutely some sort of design that, if you listen to the show for a while, I'll prove you mathematically. Things that are beyond coincidence with placements of planets in their orbits and things like that. Something designed at all, and I believe that's down to the individual thought as designed. So, a lot of this responsibility for all this we can sort of let off our shoulders, because there's a design to it all. Even the bad things happen for a reason. But I still think part of our design at this point is learning to take personal responsibility for the collective group of beings that are on this planet. Humanity. I think it's time we start being responsible for our own stuff. I don't believe that. I know that. I know the time is here, and I know this is going to happen. You're either going to be part of the change, or you're going to resist it. But societies have tipping points, and once a certain percent of the population decides to do things a certain way, there's literally nothing anything can do to stop it. And there are enough hybrids in this world. There's enough special people in this world right now. There's enough people who feel the same way and who get this and are brave, or will become brave soon, that it's going to happen. It's going to happen. It's inevitable. It's statistically impossible to fail, no matter what amount of intimidation is used or violence is used in order to stop it, because the bad things, as we're going through this transition into something better, will become desperate, because they will not work as well. They won't have the traction that positivity has. Negativity never does, I don't think. That said, though, it is all quite relative. What's positive to one person is not to another, and that's the way it's supposed to work. In all of that, we make a complete picture. So I guess my only message would be, let's start being better to each other. Start doing nice things for people, not for personal gain. If it makes you feel good, great for you. That's your personal gain. This is going to take some determination. This is going to take a long time, and it's going to take some stubborn individuals. That said, I know humanity is quite stubborn. But we, at this point, our generation, I believe, the generations that currently inhabit this planet are going to have to be stubborn for the right reasons. We're going to have to be more forward-sighted, and that's simply being more intelligent. It's simply evolving to be able to think on a higher level, to think 1,000 years down the road as opposed to what's going to happen to me tomorrow. To get past that selfishness simply takes logic and intelligence. And that's something we all possess. That's a very basic intelligence to have. And no matter what they tell you on the news, keep in mind that they're scouring the entire world for that nonsense. Sometimes I look at it and I think, is that the best you guys have all day? The world isn't such a bad place. The world's a great place, and humanity has a lot of good in it. But those things that you saw in the fourth kind do exist, and they scare people. But we've all got to be brave, and I encourage everyone to be brave and come along with me on that venture into change, into positive change. So that's some of 2012. And if any of that comes across as new agey or anything like that, I sincerely apologize, because some of that stuff drives me nuts. I think the new agey stuff is almost entirely right on key. It's the nail right on the head. That said, its presentation is terrible. We've got to get to the point where we can all talk to one another about this as though we're talking about regular things in the given society we're in. And in some Asian societies where Buddhists, who I believe of all the religions, that one is my own, but I think they're closest to reality. They're still a ways off too, though. But at least they're open to other people. At least they don't pull the whole "this is the only path to God" bull crap. Anytime you hear that, just know you're listening to manipulation. And look at the track record of that sort of nonsense. Look at how many people that's killed. Look at the amount of violence that's brought into this world. Think of the numbers of people's children or wives or husbands that have been killed because of that primitive thinking. The only path to God. No one understands God. Even the angels, the aliens that I work with, fully admit that they say we know there's a design. We therefore assume there's a designer because there's good in the universe. We try to be a part of what we believe is good, but we don't understand what God is. And the fact of the matter is, nobody does. Nobody does. Many people have referred to the aliens as the gods, quote unquote. And I suppose, let's give credit where credit is due. They've been around, they've evolved longer than us, so we have something to learn from them. As in my experience, they have no desire to be called gods. They just simply want to help humanity, and for the obvious reason that, sure, it serves their own benefit to have our species be good and helpful to the universe and nature, to contribute to the universe, to contribute to our galaxy and the planets that are nearby us, which we're getting close to discovering. There's a lot more that have been discovered than these people who think they can hold all the information would like to let you know. That stuff's all out there. Of course it is. It obviously is. But it's a parent-child relationship. For everyone who thinks that all aliens are bad, that's flawed logic at its finest. To not be able to comprehend why a being would be compassionate for us because it benefits them to have another compassionate being in the world. It does not understand even the most basic parent-child relationship. It's the same thing. Why does a parent work so hard for their child? Well, first off, genetically, it's part them, right? And even when we look at adoption, things like that, it's because even humans have compassion, as unevolved as we are. Compassion is abundant in the universe because it makes things better for absolutely everybody. And it astonishes me how many people claim to be very religious and do not get that simple logic as to why to believe that they're not all bad. It's as simple as that. It's a parent-child relationship, essentially, at a distance. Why are they so sneaky? Why do we not see them? Because largely it scares the crap out of us when we do. Even me, it still does sometimes. We're that unevolved. Secondly, any parent that's had a child who has gotten out of the house, and mine aren't that old yet, but they're old enough where I see there's going to be a point in their life where I need to withdraw and do things at a distance and let them, even if it's only the illusion they're doing it on their own, let them have that. And I think that's the point humanity's at right now. And I think at some point we'll come around and we'll welcome them with open arms and say, all right, guys, you dropped us off here. You made us just like a parent makes a child. You raised us as they were around. As we look back and see the obvious stone monuments that tell about when they were around, that they left for us because they knew over time we would start to not believe they were. To get through this process on our own, together, independently, as a species, and then to come back to them and say, all right, what else you got to teach us? I think that's how this will work out, and it's as simple as a parent-child relationship. It really is. That's what we're looking at here. Are there bad guys? Yes. Are there bad parents? Yeah, some of them are. Are there bad guys in the world? Yeah. That's just part of life, and accepting it and not freaking out about it is the way to go. Just don't participate in it if you think it's evil. Period. Okay? It's not on you at that point, so don't worry about it. All right, guys, we're going to play another song here real quick. This one is a Kurt Cobain song, and a lot of things that I point to in music here that I play is a lot of these guys